and welcome back here to the Dev Realm, and today we're gonna be carrying on our input series. And in the previous episode, if you guys remember, what we did is that we have a very nice input field that follows our design guidance, and it has a bunch of cool stuff that we added here. Right, so let's follow up our design. There's just one more thing I want to do here. If you guys remember, on our design sometimes we don't have a label, so let's just give that option here. So I'm going to create a new variable called use label, right? This is going to be a boolean. Make sure it's public. By the way, make sure all those variables in here are public. For some reason they're not. Make sure to expose them on spawn, just in case you need to spawn this variable, this UI component. Right, next thing here, we're gonna create we're gonna get our label reference, right? Get it here, and I'm gonna call set visibility, and in here we're gonna basically select, and we're gonna get the use label, and if it's true, it's visible. If it's false, it's collapse, right? So if I go back in here, by default that's false. So if I change that to true, I can see the button here. So if I do right this, press play, I just have the input field, but I can also enable that on the fly if I wanted to. Right, so let me just set up this as default as true, just because I want to see the input field in that. Right, cool. Let's close this one, let's close that one, and let's close those variables in here, as we don't need them right now. So the next one that we gotta do here is this input field with icon, right? So how can we do that? So the first thing we're gonna do here is that we're gonna go back to our inputs. I'm gonna duplicate the same guy here, and I'm gonna call input field with icon, right? Now, one thing that we need to do before we work on this input, as you can see, we are starting to use icons here. So we have an icon. So in here we also have the icons, they have the boxes and stuff and all that stuff, right? So, by the way, this is a checkbox, this is no icon. But anyway, so how can we use the icon stuff here? So, first thing we're gonna do here is I'm gonna create another folder called icons, right? And I'm gonna right click here, I'm gonna create another blueprint called WBP. Sorry, it's gonna come up from the Dev Realm UI base. WBP, we're gonna call this guy, how can we call this? Slot icon, there you go. Now we're gonna basically already extend it from the panel, that's perfect, and we are gonna copy this box here. We're gonna follow this example right there. Right, to do that, so what we need to do is we're gonna go back to our UI. I am gonna create another folder called slot icon, right? I'm gonna ungroup this stuff, and I'm gonna get this slot. Actually, there you go. I just want this slot right here. I'm just gonna delete that for now. I'm gonna delete this icon, and I'm gonna export this slot here. I'm gonna have two versions of this. So one is gonna be without anything, and another one is gonna be with the icon on it. So the first version here, I'm gonna export this guy. I'm gonna select a place to export this. I'm gonna go back to my downloads, UI, slot icons. So this first one is gonna be T background 01, and then in here it's gonna take this out, and I'm gonna export this and basically say T background 02, right? Nice. Now that we have this stuff, right, we can actually do some stuff with it, right? So the first thing we're gonna do here is that we are gonna create a box, or in this case a border, right? And we need now to go back to our UI settings, and we're gonna add a new variable called st slot item icon, right? Slot item. Cool. Open up this guy, and we're gonna add background 01, and we're gonna add a background 02. They're both textures 2D. This one as well. Nice. Now let's import those images. So on our texture again, I'm gonna create another folder called slots, right? Or and icons or whatever. And now I'm just gonna drag and drop this stuff right here. Cool. Now that we have this stuff and the information here, we can go back to the general one and add, oh sorry, wrong one. To the main UI settings, we can add the slot UI icon. Oh sorry, slot item icon. There you go. And I'm gonna add the st slot item icon here. Save. And there we go. So now we have a default value. So I'm just gonna save everything here. Go back to UI settings. Now here's gonna ask for to add the items. So let me just get where we copy that. So background 01 and background 02. Right. Now we have the basic information for this. So let's start work on this asset. Just one thing here as well that I noticed that we're probably gonna need to use is we need to display a quantity. So let's see if we're gonna be able to display the quantity. So in here we also have the quantity right on this part. So let's see if we can actually do this. Right. So we're gonna save this stuff, of course. Right. Now we're gonna go back to the slot item icon, right? And in here we're gonna call border. And inside the border we have, so go back to the icon here, we have an icon and we have a canvas by the looks of it. So what I can actually do here is add a canvas on here, and inside my canvas I'm gonna add an image. And let me just change my border first color. Let's put the icon that we're looking for. Okay, here, set texture 2D, push texture. Now we can get our get UI settings, break, and we can get the set the background 01. Let's see what's gonna happen here first. My engine just crashed. I'm just gonna restart the engine. Alright guys, so I just have restarted my engine. For some reason I had a crash. If you didn't have the crash, that's good, but I just had a crash. But anyway, so what I'm gonna do here, it's that I'm gonna go back to my screen here, again to screen. And remember that now on our design we need to have an icon, and then we have like an overlay kind of inside the icon. So what I'm gonna add here is, instead of using a canvas, I deleted the canvas that was in there before. I'm gonna use a vertical box right here, and inside this vertical box I'm gonna add an image, which is going to be my the icon that I'm looking for, right? I'm gonna make sure it aligns on the center, and I have an image here, right? I'm just gonna export an icon here. I'm just gonna export this icon just so we can test it. Here, I'm just gonna UI. I create a new folder that I call icons, and I'm just gonna call this test icon. There you go. Now if I go back to here, I have any icons in there. If I go back to my Unreal Engine, here I'm just gonna bring this icon here to test. I'm gonna probably delete it after. This is just so something that I can actually test with it. Nice, so we're gonna add this text right here. So Bush image. Now for some reason, can we expand that? Doesn't look like it's gonna allow me to expand this data. So what I can actually do here is replace this with a canvas. And the size, let's put 100 by 100. Let's see if you can expand it that properly. We're gonna align this on the middle. So what I'm gonna do here is just I added a canvas. Let me do this from scratch again. Right. So the first thing here is that the size of this is a little bit weird. It has some padding issues or something. So what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna wrap with size box, right? And the size box here, it has a certain actually I'm just gonna leave the way it was with the border. I'm just gonna set the screen size, the custom screen size, which is gonna be 100 by 100. There you go. You see, that looks way better, right? Now what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna right click and add a canvas. Canvas panel. There we go. Now, sorry, I want to add a canvas inside my border. There we go. Nice. Nice. So now it has the size that I'm looking for. Now I'm gonna add an icon, image in this case. Right there. I'm gonna align this image right in the center here. 0.5 and 0.5. There you go. And now what I need to do here is just to add this icon reference right here. Now I'm just gonna make sure that is also 100. The size, maybe that's too much, but I think what we can do here is that we can play maybe with the scale of this. Yeah, it doesn't look like we can, but anyway, I am just gonna maybe let's leave it the way it is, but let's put, I don't know, 64 by 64. Alright, sounds like we're kind of going the right direction right now. Let's just remove here. Now we need to put a quantity in here, just in case someone wants to use the quantity. So I'm going to put the icon right there. I'm going to add a WBP title, right? Now the title here, there's some adjustments that we need to do, but I'm gonna show what we're gonna do right now. So first of all, let's align where we need to align, which is right there, and it's gonna be 1, and the text here is gonna be 10, right? And let's put 20. Or maybe in this case, I think I'm gonna just create the text myself because it needs to align to the right position. So I'm just gonna add a text in here. Probably it's gonna be the best way of doing this. So I'm gonna do that. Actually no. I'm just gonna do a Ctrl Z here. I'm just thinking the best way of doing this, and I think I should be able to wrap with horizontal box, and I should be able to get this data and align to the right of this. Let's put the size 40 by 40, right? And let's put it right here. It's gonna put 1. Put it right there. Now, as you can see, the size is quite big, so what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna change this to the quantity, and I'm gonna edit this component. Edit that. What I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna go back to the graph. I'm gonna create another variable called font size. Alright, and now on the font size, I am gonna create integer value, and this is gonna be public. The default size is gonna be maybe 16. And what we can actually do here is I'm gonna create here a custom event called API set font size. I'm gonna get this guy, set font. Actually, I don't need to create API because we already have here. Yeah, we have the size right there. So what you can do, that's a float. So let's change this to a float, and let's put it right there. Let's plug this guy right here. On and save. So by default, the font size is 16, which I think it looks pretty good, but we can put 24, and that size will change automatic. Now, if I go back here to the slot item, I can change this to, I don't know, maybe 10, right? And I could align this on the middle. Let's see how does it look like when it's 1,000. Sorry. Alright, I think that looks pretty good. Doesn't look too bad. Or maybe, actually this is fine. Cool. Now that we have this up and running, we need to be able to remove the border and remove the quantity, because the input field that we're trying to do, it only has the icon. So the idea here is that we're just using the same icon every time, but we don't have to repeat ourselves when coding this stuff. So what we're gonna do now is that we need to give the option to the user to hide this background, right? So the first thing we're gonna do, we're gonna get the border here, right? And I am gonna basically go back in here. I'm gonna create here a custom event, API hide border. Right, to hide the border, all I'm gonna do is to get a border. And I think we need to set texture. And the one we want to set is known, I think. And wait, let me have a look. Is the bush color. There you go. that we need to set. Right, okay. Set brush color, there you go. And here we're gonna make so the opacity here is 0, so it hides everything. So all we're gonna do is we're gonna create a new variable, and we're gonna call hide border, right? And in here, get this branch. If this is true, then we're gonna call API hide border. By default, I think this is false, so it's gonna be actually displaying the border. But if I go back in here and say hide border, and if I untick and press compile and save, it goes back to normal, as you can see. So basically what we can also do here is, yeah, that's fine, that's alright. So now we can also hide the quantity here. So we're gonna just search for quantity box. Make sure it's a variable. We're gonna get this guy, create another variable called hide quantity, right? We're gonna create here a custom event API hide quantity, and all you gotta do is you gotta just select quantity box, and you're gonna set visibility. And actually, I may not need to. Yeah, we don't need this event. That's fine. So we're gonna do that. I'm gonna set this hide quantity variable right here. It's a little bit different from this one, but that should work. Plug right this, and we're gonna basically select. So if it's true, then we collapse. Otherwise, we make it so it's visible. Here we call this guy, and I'll should just be able to pass this variable right there. Now if I see, I think so hide quantity. Why is that not working? Let's check. If it's true, let's see why that's not working. So I can hide that. Looking at the box. So if I go back to hide quantity again, let's check what's trying to do. Maybe just to test here, I'm just gonna make sure it's collapsed and see what does it come up with. So even like this, it still displays the quantity. I think it's because it only works if, yep, I know what it is. It is because it only works in game. It doesn't work on the pre-render, which means that our logic here is fine. It's just that it doesn't work in here. If you wanna see how does it look like, you just have to proper turn that thing off. But anyway, we can test this now by coming to where is it? To the dev realm here, widgets. We're gonna go back to the characters, dev realm UI. Oh my gosh, what is it? Here, there you go. Here, UI, open up. And let's check how our icon behaves. So WBP icon. Now I'm gonna drag and drop here. We can align this guy a little bit better. So we're always gonna leave like 100 by 100. So it's a decent size. So now if I hide the quantity, compile and press play, it's still showing the quantity, so I think there is a bug with that. No, that's fine. It is because it has to be false. There you go. So as you guys can see, our icon and everything else, it's working really cool. So what I'm gonna do here, guys, is I'm gonna pause this video, this session for now. It got way too big, and then in the next one we're gonna carry on with that icon. I know this, it may be tedious, but it's just that we're creating small pieces of the assets that in the future you're gonna see that we're gonna be reusing this all over the place. So once again, thank you very much for watching, and see you in the next one.